When my wife Emma told me she was pregnant, it felt like a dream come true. We had been married for 4 years, and while our relationship wasn't perfect, I thought we were finally stepping into the life we'd always imagined. I remember the exact moment, her trembling hands holding the test, her eyes watery as she whispered, "We're having a baby." I hugged her so tightly, my heart pounding with joy. I started working overtime, making sure we had enough saved for the twins once we found out it was 2. I repainted the spare room, bought a second crib, and even drove 3 hours to pick up a rocking chair Emma said she loved. Every single day, I thought about our future as a family of 4. But as the pregnancy went on, something in Emma changed. At first, I thought it was hormones, the mood swings, the late nights scrolling on her phone, the way she'd sometimes flinch when I touched her stomach. I brushed it off, telling myself she was just tired. But then came the little signs I couldn't ignore. Hushed phone calls that stopped the second I walked in, text notifications that she turned face down, and her sudden defensiveness whenever I asked about her day. One evening, around 7 months in, I came home early from work. She was on the phone, her back turned, her voice hushed but sharp. I caught one sentence. "He doesn't suspect a thing." My heart stopped, but before I could ask, she spun around, forcing a smile, pretending she was talking to her mom. I wanted to believe her. God, I wanted to. But the seed of doubt had already been planted. It wasn't until a week later that the truth came crashing down. Emma sat me down, her face pale but determined. I thought maybe it was a scare with the pregnancy, maybe bad news from the doctor. Instead, she looked me in the eye and said 6 words that shattered me completely. "These twins aren't yours, they're Chris's." The room spun. My chest felt like it had caved in. Chris. My own brother. The man who had been my best friend. Who had stood beside me at my wedding. Who I had trusted more than anyone else in the world. Emma's voice broke through the ringing in my ears. "I'm sorry, but I had to tell you. You deserve the truth." The truth? No. The truth was that my entire life had been nothing but a carefully constructed lie. I sat there, frozen, staring at Emma as if the words she had just spoken were some kind of cruel hallucination. Twins. My twins. Not mine. Chris's. The man I had called my brother. The man I had trusted more than anyone else. My stomach twisted with a combination of rage, disbelief, and heartbreak so sharp it felt physical. Emma's eyes were glassy, full of guilt, but guilt alone couldn't undo what she had done. "I didn't mean for it to happen like this," she whispered. "I didn't know how to tell you. I thought." I cut her off before she could finish. "You thought? You thought betraying me while I carried our children was okay? You thought I'd just accept it?" The room fell silent. For a moment, all I could hear was the blood roaring in my ears, my own heartbeat, and the faint hum of the refrigerator. Every memory of the past months. The late nights she claimed were for nausea, the random excuses to go out, now twisted into sharp daggers in my mind. Chris. I couldn't believe he had been lying to me too. He had been acting like my brother, my friend, while secretly sleeping with my wife. Everything felt like a trap, a betrayal layered upon betrayal. I remembered every time he had given me advice about Emma, every time he had supported me, every time he had been present during moments that now felt like mockery. I took a deep breath, trying to calm the storm inside. Anger alone wouldn't fix this. I needed clarity. "Emma," I said slowly, deliberately, "we need to separate immediately. You're moving out, and I want a DNA test done for the twins the moment they're born. I need to know the truth, beyond your lies." Her face went pale. You can't do that. You're overreacting. I'm your wife, the mother of your children." I shook my head. "Not my children. And you made your choices. Now I'm making mine." Over the next few days, the tension in the house became unbearable. I kept my distance, avoiding conversations except for what was legally necessary. Emma tried to manipulate, to guilt me into staying calm, to apologize profusely, but I wasn't falling for it. Every attempt felt like another layer of deception. I started documenting everything, messages, phone calls, secret meetings I had witnessed. When Chris finally realized I knew, he tried to confront me with empty excuses, but I didn't give him the satisfaction. I remained cold, silent, calculating my next move. I realized then that this wasn't just betrayal, It was a war. And in war, hesitation is death. I needed a plan that would ensure the truth came out, that they faced the consequences of their actions. My heartbreak was raw, but my resolve was sharper. The day the twins were born, I waited outside the hospital room, breathing in the crisp morning air, as if it could somehow steady my nerves. Emma emerged, exhausted but radiant, clutching the babies. I stepped forward, my face expressionless, hiding the storm inside. "They're here," she said softly. "Our babies." I didn't respond immediately. Instead, I reached into my pocket and pulled out the DNA test forms I had requested days ago, long before delivery. She froze. What are you doing?" "You'll see," I said calmly. "It's important we know the truth, so there's no more lies." The results were instantaneous, and the moment the lab technician handed them over, I saw it all. Chris's name next to the twins, undeniable, irrefutable. Emma's eyes filled with tears, but it wasn't just guilt, it was shock, panic, and fear. I took a deep breath, my voice steady. "You lied to me while I carried these children. You betrayed me with the one person I trusted most. This ends today." Emma tried to protest, to claim I was overreacting, to beg for forgiveness. But words were meaningless now. I contacted my lawyer and immediately filed for separation and custody of the twins in a way that would prevent Chris from ever gaining access. Emma's attempts to manipulate the situation fell flat. Her excuses, her tears, her pleas. All of it crumbled against the wall I had built from months of deceit. Chris tried to call me, to justify, to explain, to make me forgive him. I ignored every message. I made it clear. There would be no reconciliation, no friendship, no second chances. He had destroyed the trust between us, and for that, he was out of my life forever. Over the next few weeks, Emma was left to face the consequences of her actions. Family members turned away, friends stopped returning her calls, and the reputation she had carefully built crumbled. She realized too late that her betrayal came at the highest cost. Her marriage, her support system, and the life she had taken for granted. As for me, I took the twins home, my heart aching but resolute. I vowed to give them a life filled with honesty, love, and stability. I would rebuild what she had tried to destroy, and I would never let betrayal like that enter my life again. Sometimes, the worst pain teaches the strongest lessons. And that day, holding my twins, I realized that even in the aftermath of the deepest betrayal, there was a path forward. One where I could protect what truly mattered and finally find peace. I walked away from the deceit, leaving the liars to face their own consequences, and never looked back.